Narcissists crave one thing more than anything: your reaction. Without it, they rot. They feed on your emotional energy, your anger, your need to explain, your attempts to justify or prove your worth. But there's a different path. The path of calm, controlled, ruthless indifference. The Stoic path. Because nothing torments a narcissist more than realizing they don't control you. In this video, we'll be discussing 7 Stoic tactics that will mentally dismantle a narcissist without yelling, begging, or even raising your voice. These aren't toxic games. They're ancient mindsets designed to free you from emotional manipulation. And in the process, they silently drive the narcissist insane. Let's begin. Principle 1. Emotional detachment is your greatest weapon. The narcissist's game only works when you play it emotionally. They want you to react. They want you to argue, to explain, to defend yourself, because it keeps you entangled in their reality. But the first Stoic principle is simple and devastating: emotional detachment. When you no longer flinch at their insults or flattery, they lose control. You become unreadable. The more silent and unmoved you are, the more chaotic they become inside. Epictetus taught that we are disturbed not by events, but by the views we take of them. That means no matter what a narcissist says or does, you control how you respond. When you master that, you stop bleeding energy. Your silence becomes louder than their manipulation. Every calm, okay, every lack of reaction slowly drives them mad. Because Stoicism teaches that the only thing we truly own is our mind. And if a narcissist can't access it, they're powerless. They can scream, lie, provoke. But when your emotional thermostat doesn't change, they begin to suffocate in their own drama. That's how you win, without even lifting a finger. Principle 2. Boundaries are sacred, not optional. Narcissists despise boundaries, not because they don't understand them, but because boundaries expose their lack of power. When you set a line and refuse to move it, you deny them control. In Stoicism, we are taught to control what we can and accept what we cannot. Your boundaries are one of the few things you fully control. They are not selfish. They are self-respect in action. The moment you stop explaining yourself and start enforcing your limits without apology, the narcissist begins to panic. Why? Because their manipulation depends on your guilt. They'll accuse you of being cold, of being cruel, of changing. That's their desperation talking. A Stoic doesn't explain their peace to someone committed to chaos. You must be calm, but immovable, like a marble statue in a storm. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This principle reminds us that living in alignment with our values is the ultimate shield. Boundaries rooted in principle are not up for debate. They're not acts of war. They're declarations of freedom. And when you guard your peace like it's sacred, the narcissist eventually realizes you are no longer their prey. Principle 3. Give them nothing to feed on. The narcissist survives on reaction. Anger, frustration, even your attempts to defend yourself, all of it is fuel to them. They provoke to stay relevant, but a Stoic understands that not every battle is worth fighting. True power is shown in restraint. When you master your emotions, you starve the narcissist of what they crave most: your attention. Epictetus said, "If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation." This doesn't mean you're to blame. It means you're not helpless. You have the power to decide what deserves your energy. When they insult you, twist your words, or pretend to be the victim, respond with silence. Let your calm unsettle them. Let your indifference be the loudest statement in the room. They'll try harder. They'll escalate. They'll act confused. by your peace. Good. That's how you know it's working. You don't rise to their level. You let them sink in their own noise. You are not cold. You are composed. You are not avoiding conflict. You are choosing clarity over chaos. And that choice is what tortures them the most. You've become the one thing they cannot control. And nothing is more terrifying to a narcissist than that. Principle 4. Maintain the mask of mystery. Narcissists crave knowledge of your inner world. They want access to your fears, your triggers, your ambitions, not to support you, but to control you. The more they know, the more they can manipulate. That's why one of the most powerful Stoic responses is this: reveal nothing. Maintain mystery. Not to deceive, but to protect your peace. Epictetus taught, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. And that's exactly what you do when you stop oversharing. You no longer give them the blueprint to break you. They ask you questions, but you answer calmly, vaguely. They dig for a reaction and you give them stillness. Your power isn't in what you say, it's in what you withhold. This doesn't mean you become cold or fake. It means you practice discernment. Not everyone is entitled to the unfiltered version of your soul. Stoicism teaches us to value inner peace over external validation. When you stop broadcasting your every move, the narcissist becomes lost. They hate what they can't predict. They fear what they can't control. You become an enigma, unreadable, untouchable, powerful. And while they flail in confusion, trying to decode you, you walk away untouched, intact, and more free than ever. Principle 5. Be indifferent to praise and blame. Narcissists feed on control, but their weapon of choice is often praise or blame. One moment they'll flatter you to manipulate your loyalty. The next, they'll criticize you to make you doubt yourself. It's a game of emotional leverage, and they play it well. But the Stoic has an antidote: indifference. Epictetus once said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Why? Because the moment you become immune to both praise and blame, you take away their power. You are no longer led by compliments or crushed by insults. You remain steady, centered, grounded in your own values, not their shifting opinions. When they praise you, don't drink it like water. When they blame you, don't wear it like armor. Remain unmoved. The narcissist won't know what to do with you. Their approval, you don't seek it. Their scorn, you don't fear it. You've trained your mind to respond, not react. And that is the ultimate rebellion. This kind of emotional independence isn't easy. It takes practice. But once you master it, you become a fortress. The narcissist throws their best weapons, but nothing sticks. You're not avoiding conflict. You're rising above it. And that is how Stoicism breaks their cycle of control. Principle 6. Train your expectations, not the world. The narcissist thrives when your peace depends on how others behave. They exploit your expectations of fairness, of reciprocity, of decency, and twist them into disappointment. And that's where most people fall, hoping the world will change instead of changing what they expect from it. But Stoicism offers a reversal. Epictetus taught, don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well. This is not surrender, it's power. It means adjusting your internal framework to align with reality, not illusion. Narcissists lose their grip when you stop expecting them to be kind, honest, or consistent. When you realize their behavior is about them, not you, their manipulations fall flat. You're no longer shocked by their tactics. You're prepared. You've already trained for this. Most people suffer not from what happens, but from what they expected instead. The Stoic suffers less, not because life is easier, but because they've done the work internally. And that work makes the narcissist's power crumble. When you expect nothing from them, not decency, not truth, not change, you gain everything. You stay calm when they lash out. You stay composed when they ghost you. They look for a reaction and find only silence. And in that silence, your strength becomes deafening. Principle 7. Let silence be your sword. To a narcissist, silence is terrifying, not because it's empty, but because it reflects back the truth they work so hard to outrun. Narcissists feed on reactions. Your anger, your pleading, your confusion. It nourishes their ego. But when you go silent, it's like cutting off their oxygen. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology caught up. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." And there is no greater departure from the narcissist's chaos than your quiet control. You don't yell. You don't explain. You don't try to prove your worth. You simply become still. Silence is not passive. It's surgical. It tells the narcissist, you no longer have access to me. It tells them they don't get to live rent-free in your mind. Every time you respond with nothing, you rob them of power and reclaim your own. You deny them the performance they're so desperate for, and in doing so, you win without lifting a finger. In Stoicism, self-restraint is strength, and silence, true intentional silence, is the final act of defiance. It says, I am no longer playing your game, and once you stop playing, the narcissist loses every single time. Let them wonder, let them spiral. You owe them nothing. Because the greatest torment to the narcissist is not your revenge, it's your indifference.